He is Indiana Senator Mike Braun. It's great to have you back on, Senator. The economy is the biggest concern. So why is the president and the majority of his cabinet now flying on a junket to Scotland for a climate conference?
You know, Liz, I've been here a little under 3 years, and the economy was so good pre-COVID. I ran a business for 37 years prior to coming here, and things were working. And when you listen to the litany of what you just went over, it'd be hard to imagine, even if you were trying to do it on purpose, how much you could take what was working well and destroy it. So, yes, things like climate. When China's building a coal-fired plant weekly, and we do the things to pull the rug out from underneath, like the Keystone XL pipeline, get rid of drilling on federal land. Gas price alone, along with those empty shelves you were showing, could do him in. When you look at the host of other things, from Afghanistan to the border to vaccine mandates, that's the biggest issue I'm hearing from back in Indiana. Companies scared to death when that actually hits. We haven't seen the details. Federal employees have been calling me. November 2nd, it's either get the vaccine or lose your job. That is sad stuff.
I mean, why not the job summit or an inflation summit, or we're talking calming people's concerns about the vaccine mandate? We've got an historic 100 ships stranded offshore in California. Store shelves are emptying out. We've got more the bad news from the White House. A whopping 73% of people say the condition of the economy is only fair or poor. So how is the president going to sell Build Back Better from Scotland?
You know, that's the thing about Democrats. When they get the opportunity, they go for broke, and generally they get so far ahead of their skis, they get in contradictions like you've just described. Climate's going to be an issue we all have to contend with to some extent. We can't be the party of no, or I'm not interested, but you don't purposely do things that not only are bad optics, but don't make sense. And Biden has done that not only on climate, he's done it on the economy, which when I ran in 2018, the border and the economy were the two big issues. They are now all back up there, and think about it. Lowest border crossings in recent history, 45-year low, with Trump's policy, stay in Mexico and the border wall.
Yeah. And
you take the economy, and everything you do, they're wanting to federalize, replace the productive economy with the federal government. It'll never work.
You know, we've got supermarkets like Albertson raising their prices. So is Procter & Gamble. And we've got Federal Reserve officials concerned that inflation is not as transitory as they were talking about. There's talk the Fed could raise short-term interest rates earlier than expected to cool off heating up inflation. But I want to turn to this. The White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki was asked by a New York Times reporter about the shipping delays. Let's watch the press secretary's response here. Watch.
It was crystal clear that things were not improving on supply chain. People couldn't get dishwashers and furniture and treadmills delivered on time, not to mention all sorts of other things. So why is it...
The tragedy of the treadmill that's delayed.
Right.
Okay, listen, we get it that it's tough to field a lot of questions day in and day out. There's just concern that after White House Chief of Staff Ron Klain mocked the shortages as a, quote, high-class problems, that, the messaging needs to be more on, more focused, I think, right? I mean, the reason for the bottlenecks are the pandemic shutdowns and a trucker shortage. We've got now 80,000 shortage of truck drivers. We need 80,000 more. We don't got them.
About a third of my company's employees that I ran before I became senator were truck drivers. That was a chronic issue before. Again, they try to blame it on whatever they can find as an excuse, and it's the policies that were put in place when you try to shut down the economy as your main answer to dealing with COVID. We should have all taken it seriously with respect. I toured businesses throughout Indiana. They were keeping employees, keeping customers safe, and then had to deal with the issues of supply chain disruption. So it doesn't add up.
The shutdowns were incompetent. Okay,
yes.
It was the wrong thing to do. And the fear was that the Democrats were so quick to pull the trigger on that. You don't hear about the attacks on Florida Governor Ron DeSantis because COVID cases and hospitalizations are plummeting right now versus August. And Florida Governor Ron DeSantis is saying, come to Florida, use Florida's ports. Don't use California's ports. California is cracking down on diesel trucks. California is making it expensive to replace and upgrade green energy trucks. They were also moving to outlaw owner operators and independent contractors, the mom and pop truckers. I mean, that's what California is doing. It's hyper-regulating and going after truck drivers who we need to unplug and unclog the supply chain. Your final word on this, Senator.
So what you're seeing playing out is a reflexive action by Democrats wanting to grow their growth business, the federal government. And you get all these stupid, silly decisions. And when it's in spite of, in many cases, just because the Trump economy was working. Who knows when this will get cleaned up and how long lasting it'll be. Inflation's probably the most sinister thing of the whole disaster that's been trotted out by their bad decisions.
The numbers continue to surprise the officials we look to at the Federal Reserve. They're saying, whoa, watch out about inflation. Okay, Senator Mike Braun, it's good to see you. Come back soon. We love having you on. Okay, still to